Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels to short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're live!
We're live on a Friday?
Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
Whoa, my goodness. I know we're surprising everybody. So hopefully you catch us. I know that we're doing something a little bit different, but you know what? Why not be different? Right?
Yes. And I appreciate the flexibility, everyone. It was a busy week. I was at a conference Tuesday and Wednesday. And can I share? Can I share?
No, Steve. We're moving on.
Am I allowed to? We were on stage. For other listeners out there, I have hosted the Hospitality Mentor Awards, which was based off of the 50 Hotels and 50-Day Challenge. And we created 12 categories. We invited the hotels, and we did it at this conference called the World Travel Expo, where there was over 150 people in the audience. And it was just a lot of fun to create something as an idea and see where it goes and take it on stage. It was a lot of fun.
That is so cool, by the way. I'm like, so it's just awesome to like be here on the sidelines and watch that grow. And that was really
it was crazy.
So cool.
I was on stage and looking at the crowd. I'm like, this is pretty cool. You know,
How
you actually
big
have an idea.
Crowd, by the way.
It was 150 people, and there was all the hotels there. And it was just a lot of fun and a lot of travel agents because it was a travel show. So all these people were seeing me talk about hotels.
Yeah.
And it started getting competitive out there. It's like, hey, all right, which hotel do you think should win out there in the crowd? They would all start screaming, which hotel?
So so they were travel advisors?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a rowdy bunch.
Yeah, they were rowdy.
In the nicest way. But what I love is that they've got very strong, honestly, like if you are a hotel, you do not sleep on your travel advisors, even asking them for feedback, because they're getting feedback from not only their clients, but you can get really great feedback from them on the booking process and the whole experience.
It was cool. So this conference they brought countries from around the world. So they had representatives of the countries, and then they brought travel advisors here. And somehow I bartered Tangy to have a booth there, which is our short-term rental hospitality company. Which, we had to come up on the fly with some commissions for travel agents. So it was fun to see. But overall, a great experience.
Dude, that's awesome. All I have to say is next year, I need to come.
Yes, we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to get everybody over there. I want to make it like its own standalone thing. I got me motivated to do it.
I love this.
So. But Lonnie, good to see you. We haven't been live in a while, so great to see you, Lonnie.
Lonnie in the house. I mean, yeah, by the way, let us know where you're joining us from. I know that I don't think that we necessarily shared a teaser on our individual pages. I had a busy week as well, too. So sorry. But it is what it is. No, I will say this. I'm super excited because last week we kind of talked about what I had been up to. And so I've got a lot of amazing videos from my time in Asia. So I've been sharing them on Instagram, but I think I might need to share them on LinkedIn.
I think that you should. LinkedIn is pushing video very hard now, and I think it would do very well for you.
I got video. There's one thing I got video.
Put it up. I want to see the one where the train goes by when that train.
Oh my God. Done. I got that. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. So we got 7 videos on that. So everybody will be like, okay, Sarah. But it's awesome.
John Carpenter. Straight from Cleveland. John Carpenter up did some big things. I've been seeing you on LinkedIn of all things, John. So keep up the great work, man.
Ooh, we love this.
Oh, I love it. I love being back live with everybody. See,
I know. I kind of like the Friday thing. It's a nice cap to the week.
I kind of like it. Maybe we're a Friday show.
Maybe. Look at us just trying everything out. Anyway, well, why don't we go ahead and dive into some of the topics that are that we want to talk about today? Yeah. Interesting things that are happening. So this is kind of interesting, I will say. New York City hotels are facing a new rule after council passes licensing law. So basically, just on Wednesday, the New York City Council passed a hotel licensing bill that sparked this really intense debate between supporters who claim it'll improve safety and working conditions, and then the opponents who argue that it will hobble the hotel industry. So I don't know how much you got to check this out.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this one.
Yeah. Okay. Please talk.
So here's what we got here. So let me break this down. So if you're a hotel with over 100 rooms, there's all these new rules that you have to abide by. One, you now have to maintain a continuous front desk with coverage round the clock. So all of the companies that started to use smart technology like virtual check-ins and things like that, you have an actual person there in the lobby 24 hours a day. It had to be a front desk agent. Now they're saying it's okay to have security overnight as long as they're trained to handle check-ins and things like that at the hotel.
Smart.
The other, which is going to be wild for a lot of people, and I have a reason for this, is that if you're over the 100 hotel, your core employees have to be your employees. No outside staffing agencies or contractors anymore within the hotel, which is bananas for a lot of people, because I can explain why after. And then the last is you have to clean the rooms daily. There is no option. You have to clean the rooms, and there's no charge that you can make. So a lot of hotels that were short on staff, and the way they were doing it was like, oh, we don't want to interrupt you and get in your space, so we won't clean it unless you ask. Now you have to clean, and you can't charge extra for it. So there's a couple other things, but those are like the big main ones, which are hard to do if you haven't been operating that way. And
they did say unless the guest declines.
Decline, yeah, but I don't decline. I figure I want my room cleaned when I'm going to a trip.
I do, but I know a lot of people that decline.
Yeah, if they're working from the room, but I like having the stay over cleaning and my turn down service. And
it's a highlight of the hotel experience for me, but sometimes I decline.
Yeah. So that is what they're saying. So what do you think about that when you hear all of this?
Okay. So after working in a property, like I've worked in the industry long enough that I remember working in properties where everybody was hotel employees, like housekeeping, valet, all of that. And then working in properties where like those two particular departments were outsourced. I can talk about those from personal experience. Consistency in the level of service was just not there, and also I felt like, and like even for example, some like the valet companies or like the guys so desperately wanted to ultimately work for the hotel because it was almost better working conditions for them to work for the hotel than these outside companies, just probably because they didn't have to, whatever it is. Like, so from the guest experience and then also just streamlining everybody so that they're on the same page, I think it's better to have everybody work for the hotel. Is that harder to manage? Obviously. Might it be more expensive? Obviously. I mean, I can't deny that. But at the end of the day, like I think it's a night and day difference. And absolutely, you have to have somebody there overnight. I stayed in Davenport, Iowa, and even the hotel that I stayed at in Davenport, Iowa, I mean, the security checks to come in after 7 p.m. were, I mean, they took their security very seriously. So that's just Davenport, Iowa. That's not even New York City, where you just think about the traffic on the street. You have to have somebody there. So I think this is a good ruling. I'm not going to say that it's not more expensive. I'm not going to say it's not more challenging, but I like it. And tell me if I'm wrong.
I agree with you on a lot of things. And Lonnie's saying I agree with daily cleaning prior to COVID. That was the service. Here's the deal. Just do it. At all Lonnie Clean hotels, we do the service.
Yeah.
All right, call Lonnie if you need some help. So here's the thing. So I used to run a staffing company. I owned one for 4 years.
Yeah.
And there's benefits to it, right? There's a lot of these tweener hotels that you need extra staff for housekeeping. Hotel. Yeah, I say you're not big enough to maintain them all year round, right? To have that staff all year round. And people don't want to work seasonal, right? And so then there's other people, I think about you sometimes where you were chasing a career that you needed some flexibility to go act and do and chase your things that you were doing outside. And a lot of people want to do that and have that flexibility of, hey, I want to go be a front desk agent at a couple of hotels and have a couple of options for me. And that's different than some of these 5-star, 5-diamond hotels where you need that all the time. But some of these hotels that aren't big enough to maintain that full staff on there as a W-2,
Yeah.
you're going to have to switch to becoming either seasonal for some of these, or hey, you're only going to work during busy season and then I'm going to let you go, which is hard to find people that just want to work for 3, 4, or 5 months.
Sure.
And then the other is you don't have an HR or recruiting department in those hotels. And so you use a staffing company like I had, because I actually hired legal people that were background checked and drug tested, and I allowed you to hire them after 90 days, right? So I could recover my fees of doing all that. And then it was like a good way to have your recruiting done as well, but they were not W-2 employees during that time. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I understand that this is a way to also block out the bad players, because I was competing against people that were using people not legally. They were not legal to work in the country. They were not doing background checks. They were not providing insurance for these people like the good players are. And there's a lot more of the bad players than the good ones. So I understand where this comes from, but it's going to be hard for a lot of people.
And I mean, I think we also have to address the elephant in the room, where probably the most, and say the U word that a lot of people don't like to say, but it's
union.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. Oh my God, exactly. So, I mean, that is a very big part of life in New York. So that's also an aspect to do. I get it. I understand, like, as far as like forcing that for businesses, that'll be challenging, but I don't know. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. But by the way, Steve, I love how you did not mention what I thought was the most interesting things that they were saying, that hotels cannot accept reservations for less than 4 hours unless they're at the airport. Look, okay, who's doing hourly rentals still?
They just need an office for the day.
Yeah. First of all, really, are we still doing hourly rentals? You all know that you don't have to use it for overnight. You just pay for it for overnight.
It's interesting. I see what they're trying to do. There's definitely some things happening in those rooms that are not legal, but sometimes hotels just want to fill those rooms up as best they can that are sitting there empty. So I don't know. I get it. You need some regulations and things. I think sometimes government overreaches in creating things. Like they banned the short-term rentals from New York, right? Because they thought it was going to fix housing. And we see the reports that it didn't do that. It only raised the prices for hotels. So now hotels get to charge way more ADR. But now they get some karma, I guess. Right? They got hit with this now, so it's going to cost them more to run their hotels. So
it'll definitely be interesting to see.
It's always interesting when government gets involved in all these things.
Maybe we should get somebody on the show that knows the New York market well. That would just be fun.
I think we should. I got some friends up there. We'll call them in.
I got peeps too. Anyway, well, I mean, I know. Wait. What did Lonnie have to say here? This was Lonnie said a lot. Hold on. Okay. All right. Yes, I know. When you have a 12 noon checkout and a 3 p.m. check-in, the change the window of opportunity with a 5-hour window, 11 a.m. checkout to 4 p.m. check-in. That's 5-hour window versus 3. I built the case for brand properties and won each time. Okay, there we go. Lonnie dropping the mic on that.
I send them up to New York.
Yep. Makes a huge difference. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about wellness and travel. And I think this is awesome because we've talked about it all year. It's certainly, I mean, it's a big thing, but the Wellness and Travel and Tourism, the organization, they are launching their first ever wellness certification for hotels and resorts, which I think is super cool because it kind of adds, like, you know, a little bit more of a formality to it. So for those that don't know, the Wellness in Travel and Tourism is an independent organization. It's led by experts in hospitality, wellness, and travel. They're anticipating the wellness travel market to grow to 1.3 trillion by 2025. So that's not far away. And then they've got basically a new 100-point certification program that is kind of neat. I think this is kind of an interesting. What are your thoughts on this?
I love it. The reason I like this is because there's so many places that say they have a spa and wellness center, but they don't know what they are doing. Right? They just kind of put it there for branding, and then they outsource it to a bunch of people that might work at other massage places to come in, and there's not a thing curated, and it's not a great experience. So I'm happy to see that they are really going in to see, like, all right, if somebody's coming here, are they leaving feeling that they got great service, they are doing true wellness? And I think this is great. And one of them that they mentioned here is the Fina Hotel here in my backyard at Miami Beach, which is my friends over there, and I can vouch for them. But I'm a big believer in this trend because as I'm getting older and I want to feel good when I'm on vacation. And so I booked a night stay at the Carolina Wellness Spa and Hotel. That is one of the people leading this charge.
Yeah.
Just to have a day of getting recharged with them and all their things. So I can see if I'm doing that, I'm sure there's millions and millions of people out there doing it as well.
So what I like is that they're kind of focusing on 5 different pillars. They've got healthy eating, holistic healing, nature, movement, and local impact.
It's great.
And yeah, I think it's really nice. And they even saying that their CEO and founder saying is like, think of us sort of as like the Michelin guide for wellness travel, which is awesome. You need somebody, especially, you know, this organization is in that space. It's so great that they're kind of taking the helm. And just, it adds a little bit more of a process to it. So, and then they're also even helping, you know, hotels. Let's say a hotel has this as a goal that they want to be certified for this or whatever. They're doing sort of like consulting and guidance to help support some of the hotels that want to check off these boxes. I think that's great.
I think it's great too. And I'm looking at the list of hotels. Like you have some traditional ultra luxury hotels, but then they have an auto camp, right?
Yeah.
Like that's on here. So I think it's cool. And the Catskills, auto camp Catskills. And then they've got just some boutique hotels, and they've got the ultra luxury hotels and some mid-tier hotels. So they're not just focusing on one type. They're all over the place. And
oh no, totally.
I think it's very cool to see what they're up to here.
Totally. So, oh yeah, Lonnie saying that Celebrity Cruises has this down pat. Yeah, I'm a fan, big fan of Celebrity. So they're definitely doing it great. But this is awesome. So again, it's kind of just
your old hotel, the Peninsula Beverly Hills, is on here too.
I mean, we know it is fantastic. I mean, I know. You walk into that spa and you're just the eucalyptus. It's so amazing. So this is cool. Nice to see what's going on.
Yeah, fantastic.
In that space. All right. We have to talk about this next topic, which when I read it, I was like, what? But it's been some time since we've done a little bit of outrageous news. Okay. So I don't know how many Swifties are out there. Steve, are you a Swiftie?
I'm not going to comment.
No comment.
I don't need any fan mail coming in, hate mail.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm not a Swiftie, but like I
like some of her music. Yeah, I like her. I appreciate what she's doing. Yeah.
Oh, totally. I'm not like fangirling going over to these concerts, which I have friends that I see do.
Yeah.
It's great. But at the end of the day, like awesome to see what she's doing to, I mean, we've talked about the Taylor Swift effect and how she's like almost single-handedly bringing in all these people to different cities and different markets. So kudos to her. But why we want to talk about it is not because of that. I thought this was fascinating. So basically there's a fan of hers based in New Orleans. So ahead of this New Orleans tour, this fan booked 191 hotel rooms, and she's basically creating this sort of quote unquote holiday house. So, and I like this because it's just showing the ingenuity of the of her fan. So basically this fan had gone to a concert before and like had to do all this. I think it was actually in Los Angeles, and she was like staying in Phoenix, drove out, whatever. And she was there for such a short amount of time that she missed all like the fun community aspects for it. So what she's done is she's paid out of pocket she's not that old either. She's paid out of pocket, booked 191 rooms, and is basically creating like a community house, calling it their holiday house, so that fans that are coming into New Orleans can kind of congregate, gather, or if they don't have a lot of money for a hotel room, they can pay like what they can. I think this is awesome.
It's really like an entrepreneurial mindset. I hope she can cover her costs because she booked the 191 rooms at the Holiday Inn, right? In New Orleans. So, you know, I'm sure she got a good rate. Bought all the rooms out, and then create something, the holiday house for all the Swifties to come in and make bracelets and have some fun drinks and listen to music and maybe bring a podcaster in there because that's what they did here in Miami. So she was just here in Miami this past weekend.
Yes.
And so I didn't understand the full Taylor Swift effect, and I saw it in effect because I live in the heart of Miami, right in the middle of
you do
the downtown Edgewater. And everywhere I walked for those 3 days, merch everywhere. Taylor Swift fans everywhere. Every hotel was packed.
I'm sure.
All of our vacation rentals packed, sold out at the highest rates that we had. And so I'm a big believer in hers. I can't get my mind around spending $3,000 to go to a concert, and I'd rather go to Europe and all these things. But that's how much tickets we're selling for down here.
Yeah.
3,000, 4,000. And then people will wait outside to miss half the show and still get in and pay $1,000 for tickets. So
It's
amazing to see.
wild, but it's cool. I mean, but also at the same time, this isn't the first time that this has happened. I mean, I remember, and when one of the last hotels that I worked at, we would get a lot of the big groups that would come and stay at our hotel. And people from like Madonna was there. We had One Direction. One Direction was fascinating. And I think that might be an interesting way to compare to Taylor Swift, just because it was a lot of younger girls. And it was so funny because it's like they bring a group of like 14-year-old girls like walking through the lobby, and we're like, okay, you're not staying here. So, you are going to have to, and they're like, we're staying here. And I'm just like, honey, you're 14. You're not fooling us. Like, you're not staying here. But like the parents would come and like they'd get a room so that like 4 of them could stay in the room. I mean, to see that mass chaos in person is wild. And I'm sure there are countless groups that like everybody can say that they've experienced over the years, but it is.
Yeah, this is pretty massive. Like the only other thing I see like as dedicated, which I don't like either, is the band Fish. Like all those guys will travel wherever they go and pay as much as they need to go experience.
Yes, that. Except for, I don't know if you know this, because I have a couple Fish heads that are friends. That's what they're called, right?
Fish heads. Yeah, I think so.
They haven't really raised the prices of their tickets, which I give them so much credit for, because they want to make it still affordable. So they actually are pretty tight on the cost of the tickets, which that's cool.
Yeah, because they want their true fans to be there. But it was interesting to see. Like, I like that this Rebecca Fox rented these 191 hotel rooms. I hope that she does a good job and creates a cool experience for the fans that are coming in. I don't hate her on this. Hey, the rooms are available. She's risking it. Hopefully it goes well and doesn't turn into a fire festival scenario there.
No, but I think it'll be cool and good. And like, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for her. And then moving forward, like it could grow into something that she starts doing it in other cities, so.
Yeah, it's amazing. You never know. You just got to try. Just have an idea, execute it, and see what happens.
Love it. Love it. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about some travel stuff. This is interesting.
And I need help on this. Explain this to me, because I'm trying to book a flight here for December.
So I was looking at it on so basically Google Flights has introduced a new feature to find cheaper airfare. So basically the search engine, like when you're kind of like searching for on Google Flights, they have an extra result now that's named the cheapest, and it'll feature a variety of lower priced flight options. So before, I think like the top 2 or 3 options that they would show you were basically like the best overall. And then you would scroll down and then you would see others. But now they actually have a tab that says cheapest. I actually checked it on my page and I didn't see it yet, but maybe I have to update my Google Chrome. But I think it's interesting. And I know the big question is like, okay, well, where are they getting this info from? And they're basically aggregating all of that from the other sites that are basically like pulling those.
So it's kind of like Skyscanner, right?
Yeah, totally.
But in Google, so I don't have to go to Skyscanner. I could just type in best flights to wherever. So they're taking over the world. Because now the same thing for hotels, and they got vacation rentals going. So now they're starting to have control of the entire travel experience.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. So they started it this week, but it's going to take about 2 weeks to be ultimately available. So they're adding the updates. So if you don't see it yet, check it out. And this is perfect too, because it's right in time for the holidays. I was looking at Thanksgiving travel because I always go back to Pennsylvania for the holidays. $1,300 to go to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I love Allentown.
Everybody wants to be in Allentown for the holidays. I hear they have the best holiday market for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Everybody come to Allentown. But I mean, it's not just Allentown. It's all of the smaller regional anytime you're going to be flying into more of a regional airport, I mean, the prices skyrocket. It would it is cheaper for me to fly to Paris for Thanksgiving than it is to Allentown. But I love my family and I will pay more for family as opposed to Paris. So that's what's happening.
I'm booking travel. And so I'm looking at it. This will be a great tool to use because I need to book something this weekend for New Year's time. I always We've done that the last 2 years. I like it. It's the most expensive time, but I really like going somewhere during New Year's. So we're going to do it this year.
It's always fun. It's always fun. So that's cool. Check out that feature. I think what was nice I wanted to share that with everybody because that's awesome.
It's great. Everyone's, we got to. Everything's so expensive now.
We have to, for sure. All right. This is cool. Especially considering Lonnie's last note here about celebrity cruises. The CDC has revealed their cleanest cruise ships in 2024. And I thought this was kind of interesting to actually list what the cleanest cruise ships were. But basically they've got they inspected over 100 cruise ships, and most received passing scores of 95 or above. So that's a very big feather in the cap.
That's great. Ship. Good job.
That's fantastic. And so you've got some of the all the big brands had some of their cruise ships that were within the top 10 at least. But I mean, from Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, Celebrity, Disney, and more are definitely ranking up there, and everybody did a fantastic job. But I thought it was interesting. And keep in mind, they don't announce these inspections. These are completely they come unannounced.
Secret shop. Yeah.
Yeah. And what stood out to me was different, these inspections take 6 to 8 hours, depending obviously on the size of the ship, the number of inspectors, the amount of time the ship is in port. So I don't know. It's cool. And it's just interesting to see how they are. So
I love it. I love going on cruises, and it's been too long since the last one I've been on, but I love going on when I go on Royal Caribbean and you go to their Windjammer Cafe, they say, no washy, no yummy. You got to go wash your hands, and they stand there. And that's what they say.
The washy in the cruise world is it's hilarious, but it's such a thing.
Yeah. But I get it, because you don't want to get sick. And if people are sick down there, it is not a fun place to be sick on a cruise ship at all. But I feel way safer than hotels on a cruise ship for cleanliness, because I watch them. I'm sitting on the pool deck watching them test the water every hour, because you got kids and people, doing things, whatever that's going on in those pools. They're wiping down all the banisters. They're cleaning all the buffets. They're rotating food correctly every 4 hours. They've got a ton of people there doing the right things. So congratulations to all the cruise ships here. I see all the brand names there. There isn't anyone that stands out as a negative. They didn't really show any bad ones. So that's great news.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see. So I don't know. I like this. So if you are a big cruise fan, know that you can go check out this list. And the CDC actually lists when that particular ship was last inspected. Yeah. So
we got John saying Virgin was the cleanest I've been on. I've enjoyed 5 or 6 from different brands. I have not been on Virgin yet because they don't allow kids. I gotta get on there.
I love Virgin.
Lonnie's talking about they steam clean the carpets continuously as well. Cool.
They do.
I did not know that.
That makes sense. I feel like I see that a lot.
Yeah, I feel like the casino's got to be cleaned a lot, because I see there's so many people touching buttons and pulling levers and
we're making a face. Every casino. I mean, dude, Las Vegas, and this will have to be a story for another time, because I was in Las Vegas this past weekend. But that and seeing that's it's a whole different operation. But how cruise lines and Vegas hotels and casinos are running their operations, that's next level. Little cities, but getting it done.
Yep.
So very cool. Anyway. Okay, well, I want to be mindful of our time here, because it's a Friday and people got things to do. But why don't we just do a quick real-time recap and then our hospitality quote?
Let's do it. So my real-time recap, I had dinner last night at a brand new restaurant opened 3 weeks ago. And usually that's a tough time for restaurants to open, because you're just starting. And this restaurant is called Sparrow here in the Wynwood neighborhood. And it was fantastic. Italian steakhouse, and the service was fantastic. The team was really nice. The managers came by the table with smiles, checking in on things. And they had live music with this singer that was walking around the room and started singing next to me. And I started kind of getting into the show. So just a fun ambiance. So if you're looking for a plump place to go in Miami, check out Sparrow. Very cool spot.
Nice. Well, I love that. I was just in Vegas last weekend with my mom. More to come on that soon. But it was so cool to be there. We were mainly off the strip. So it was it was a very different sort of experience, a different way to experience Las Vegas. But I have to say, every place that we went to off like there's definitely something in the water there, because the hospitality across the board everybody was so pleasant. Like, we even did like a little sushi restaurant, and just the way we were treated in this like neighborhood joint, it was awesome. It was just great. It was like, wow, the hospitality spirit is alive and well in the residential areas of Las Vegas, and it was just nice to see. So it's cool to just kind of be reminded. I mean, especially when you're on the road and you're going to different cities, to see that's just kind of like a I don't. Oh yeah, sorry. Will was asking who said our hospitality quote here. Well, I don't have somebody, but it is what it is. So
we just believe it.
We're gonna believe it, exactly. So going into our hospitality quote, and I think this was neat. The key is to set realistic customer expectations, and then not just to meet them, but to exceed them. The key to this, I thought, was setting realistic expectations, because this notion of like the customer is always right, there should be an asterisk. There should be like, there's like something in the fine print for that. So I don't know. That's kind of,
yeah. I think that a key thing too, which I'm learning as well, is more and more is the photos you put online. You don't want to doctor them up so much that when somebody gets there, like, where is this place? This place doesn't exist in this picture, right? And I think if you can, yes, we want to make sure it looks nice, and I understand it's the one person floating in the pool for the marketing image, right? But
yeah,
I think I've seen, we're working with so many hotels and now short-term rentals. That's the key. Set that expectation before they get there. And then when they are there, blow them away with all the things you anticipated, so they don't have to ask you for things. Even things like, wow, I didn't think I needed that, but it's good that it's here.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, definitely the photos. I will not say where, but some place that I've stayed in over the past several weeks, which could be anywhere.
You're in Asia.
It could be anywhere. It was not there. But I stayed at a property that had and it looked amazing online. And then they had announced that they had like a Forbes rating, all of that. I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then I got there, and the Forbes 4-star rating was from 2014. And it was still on, and I was like, oh, that actually makes sense, because it looked like the place was last renovated in 2014. I get it, like a lot of factors go into that, but I was like, it was just a little bit like,
yeah, they get disappointed. They let you down. They didn't meet expectations.
a little tired. But yeah, so definitely set those realistic expectations. So people
That's
know what
why
they're getting.
I'll tell you what, we talked about reviews. That's why I like Google reviews.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go to a hotel, say the reviews there, but go to most recent. I can see very quickly how that hotel's doing.
Honestly, as a concierge, yeah, I mean, and for years, I mean, I am constantly reading reviews, whether it's Google or Yelp or whatever the business is, because as much as I'd like to say that I've been everywhere, the reality is I haven't been. And so sometimes I have to make recommendations on places that I haven't been to. But it's like when you get really good at kind of like going through the reviews and seeing the pictures and just getting a really good pulse on what the feedback is. I mean, it says a lot. So yeah, definitely I'm a big fan of those reviews, because really it adds a more realistic look at things. So you just have to sift through it. But
I agree with you.
whew, man, did we cover a lot this morning? This has been a good Friday morning.
I think we covered a lot of fun topics. And I think for you listeners out there, if you found something of value here, I'm sure your friends do too. So make sure to forward it over to them. I'm sure they would appreciate you sharing such an awesome episode with them. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and on your favorite podcast streaming platform.
Totally. Feels good to be back and having our live conversations. I know we didn't do it Wednesday, but even on a Friday, I'm into it.
I like the Friday vibes. More chill.
Yeah, more chill. Yeah.
We got to add the happy hour to it. I have my prebiotic soda over here. Nothing fancy right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I already had my lion's mane mushroom tincture
Oh my God, we're such health freaks over
We
here.
are health freaks, but that's how you maintain our long days. So that's what we
right.
do. Anyway, cool show.
See you next
Happy
week. See you
Friday.
all next week. Happy Friday.
Exactly. See you guys next week.